Hi y'all, this is Charity from Frog Crochet, and we will be doing part 1 of our crochet along. But first let me do my devotional that I usually do. And the title is Love as God Loves. Do unto others as you would like them do to you. If you love only those who love you, why should you get credit for that? Even sinners love those who love them. And if you do good only to those who do good to you, why should you get credit? Even sinners do that much. And it's from Luke chapter 6, verse 31 through 33. Sometimes we feel pretty good about ourselves and our relationships with others. We put ourselves on the back, we pat ourselves on the back for helping a nice woman with her groceries, sharing our garden produce with our kind neighbors, or shoveling snow off the sidewalk for a fellow churchgoer. It's easy to be nice to nice people. It's much harder to be nice to nasty people. Yet we are called to love all humans, even those who do not share our beliefs, values, or customs, even if they don't love us back. So what's a woman to do? Well, the next time someone cuts you off in traffic, ask God to bless her instead of blaring your horn. Consider baking some cookies for the neighbor who is cantankerous and not nice. Or find a way to anonymously help out the unbeliever who just lost her job because she stole from the petty cash. And our prayer today is, Lord, help me lovingly do to others as I would have them do to me. And our prayer jar inspiration is, my hope and reward lie in loving as God loves. Okay. Now, those of you that already know how to do a simple chain and simple crochet, just bear with me. We will start out with doing just the basic stitches, and then we'll work our way up to doing the harder and other stitches out of the book that I have, the 2 books that I have. But right now I'm trying to get to where other people can learn how to do this, and by doing a project in the process they can make something as they learn. And they can, if they are not experienced and they're still learning, they can do a scarf or just something simple. And those of you that are more experienced with this can do something a little more difficult. But right now I am using the Mainstay acrylic yarn. It is a 4-weight, and it does say to use a 5.5 millimeter hook, and that's what I'm using. It's a 5.5. Alright, if you don't know how to do a slip knot, this is your tail end right here, and this is where your yarn's coming from. I just do a loop like that, loop it, pull that up underneath there, just pull that through, hold this end, and just pull and tighten it. Now you will need a tail long enough to sew in your ends. There is other videos on YouTube of how to sew your ends in if you would like. But you just pull your loop down, put your hook in the loop in your loop. Alright, don't go too tight, but you want to do your stitches, and just however you hold your yarn, this is how I hold mine. And we're just gonna do a chain. If you don't know how to do a chain, just put yarn over your hook like this and just pull through. And that is one chain. Let's show you again. Put yarn over and pull through. you got 2 chains. Yarn over, pull through. Got 3 and 4, 5. I'm gonna do 32. That's 6. All right, 7, 8, 9, 10, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32. Now, not counting the loop that's on your hook, you should have 32 chains if you're following along with me, or if you're going to just do however long you want to, do it in multiples of 6 plus 2. So, but each one of these 2 loops, that's your chains. I have 32. Alright, we're not going to go into this first one. Alright, most people like to do your standard single crochet is you go, lighting in here is terrible right now. Alright, you go through on the side, you have the chain facing you, not this one, but this one. You have 3 loops that you can see right there, and you go into, dot those 2, go under those 2, and you pull up a loop and go through, and then you pull up another loop, and that's a single crochet. And then you go to the very next one, you got, see the 3, you go under those 2, you have 1 loop under your hook, go all the way through, grab your yarn, pull through, so you got 2 loops, and you go yarn over and pull through 2. Mine a little tighter. Show you again. You go through those 2. You got 1 loop underneath. You go pull through, and you do that. That is your single crochet. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and work. I'll show you one more time, real slow. You go under those 2. You got 1 loop underneath your hook. Grab your yarn, pull through 2 loops, your yarn again, and pull through. In the US terms, that is a single crochet. I don't like how loose that is. I like my stitches a little tighter. It's however you feel comfortable with it. Now, sometimes if you do too tight of a stitch, it will mess with your what you're making. Alright, I'm just going to work through and do 31 stitches, because we have that 1 extra chain on the end. So when you get down to the other end, you should have 31 stitches, single crochet stitches. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Yarn's wanting to split. Under. I'm not used to doing this, y'all. Bear with me. I hope I can keep you on camera. Next time I'll try to use my house lighting. I do have a really good light above one of the desks. The lighting in here is not that great. I'm at church right now doing this. So we had a ladies' Bible study today. My internet here at the church is a whole lot better than the internet at my house. So okay, quit tangling up. Alright, my yarn split. Probably because I've used this yarn, pulled it out and redone it so many times. This time I'm not pulling it out again. Alright. When you get down to this end, you just keep on going. I'm almost there. Bear with me here. We're almost there. Yep, yarn split again. Normally I don't mess with that. Sometimes I just let it go. But for the tutorial part, I'm going to fix that so it looks right. Now sometimes your yarn will split. This one's splitting because I've done crocheted a few tutorials and pulled it loose. Alright, down to the last one. There you go. Under these two loops, pull that there. And there's number pull that tail down. 31. Now, to turn your work, and that's the top. That's what it's going to look like. Alright. To turn your work, we're just gonna, well, don't lose my hook here, out of the yarn. You just simply chain up one and just turn your work. Alright, we're gonna do another row of just basic crochet so you know how to do a plain regular single crochet on your second row. And then the next row we will learn how to do back loop. Alright, so you go through. When you do a regular, this is your top of your stitch. Make sure you go under both those loops like that. Pull your yarn through. And there you go. You've got your other row. That's row 2. Your chain is just your base starter piece, and then your first row is your your chain is your base row. So a lot of people don't count that as a row. And then so we're on row 2, and so you go through, pull through. that simple. Just like that. Alright. Pull it through. So, and it will look different doing, that's why there's so many different varieties of doing stitches, but that's what it looks like for just do a single crochet on top of each other. Alright. And once you get that first row, that's what I don't like doing, is that first row, because your foundation row is usually the hardest one. It takes you the longest. So don't get frustrated, just keep going. And if you're just learning, you know, we learn from our mistakes. So we're just going to go back across here, and we're going to just do a basic crochet. Simple single crochet. Now if you see, a lot of the times if you're trying to learn how to do a pattern, a single crochet sometimes is spelled out, or they will abbreviate it as SC, or sometimes it's just an S. Most of the time it is an SC, single crochet, in your pattern book. Yarn's wanting to come off my fingers here. Alright, almost there. And we'll learn how to do, stay down. Learn how to do back loop. And we'll do 2 rows of that. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, coming down, I got 2 more stitches. There's 1, and that makes 30, and this will make 31. Alright, and again, that's what your stuff looks like. And to turn your work, I'll pull some more yarn off of here. To turn my work here. Alright. Again, to turn your work, we're going to chain 1. Alright, this time we're going to do back loops. So we got to turn our project over, and right here, that's our chain 1. Not counting that, we're going to go into this right here, not that. Alright, so you got 2 loops here. You go through that back loop only, and grab your yarn and pull up, and then pull through. So now you got this little ridge here, and again, so you go to the next stitch. To do your second one, just go through that back loop right there and pull up a loop, and there you go. I like to tighten my stitches. Some people don't. Some people just go with it and just go on to the next one. But alright, you go through there. Go through that loop. And see how we got this nice little ridge there? That's what that does when you do the back loop. So just, we're going to work across here, and we're going to do the back loop. Once this gets bigger, it'll be easier to work with. Usually when you're first starting out, if you're struggling with it, that's normal. Because it will be wonky when you first start out. Even I'm struggling with it a little bit because it is a small. It does seem like I'm taking a while on this video to do this, but it is a little wonky to do. But like I said, if you're just starting out, you can start out with just 32 on your chain, and then when you go to do your stitches, you will have a total of 31 each row. And make sure, if you're just now learning and you're one of those that likes to have it just right, make sure you count your rows every time. If you don't count your stitches, you may end up with off either too many stitches or not as many. Alright, that's 31, and that's what that looks like right there. And you just simply chain up one, and we're going to turn our work. Get some more. Alright, I am going to show you again with this, the back loop. Now, this is what the back looks like. It'll kind of do that, but that's fine, because that'll be on the other side. This next go around. So you got your chain of one, and you just go into that first loop right there, pull up your yarn, get 2 loops, pull through, that's a single crochet, go through this first right there and pull through, and there you go. Now, some people like to use those yarn rings. I've got some, those tension rings. If you're starting out, they're great for somebody that's starting out learning how to hold this. And everybody holds their yarn differently. It's however you feel comfortable with it and however you feel comfortable holding your hook. If you notice, I like to have my thumb there and I hold my yarn in place to keep it from getting too big of a loop. That's why I do that, is to keep it from getting too big. It just holds that yarn in place. So now, because we're doing back loop, when we flipped our work, that's what it's starting to look like. And the reason why it's doing this is because we have your basic regular double crochet here, and we just started doing that front or back loop only. Alrighty, and that's how we do your single crochet, and then you do your back loop only. Next week we will learn how to do front loop only on a single crochet, and then we will learn how to do a half double crochet. Oops. Bump my camera. Alright. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm glad I only made this 31 stitches. By the time mine's done, it's going to be a scarf when I get done with this. Alrighty, almost there. Got 2 more stitches. And the last one, because that's your chain, turning chain. Alrighty, and that's what our work looks like. Now, I will fasten off and change colors for next week. You can stick with the same color if you would like. If not, just simply pull your yarn through. And I don't have my scissors with me, so I would just simply, now this I've learned for somebody else, is to secure that better, that I've learned is not just to do one. I do 2 of these, and then I'll pull that tighter on this end, but after I clip my yarn. But anyway, I'll do 2 chains and then tighten that down after I clip my yarn. But I don't have my scissors with me right now. I forgot those. Oopsie. Alright, that's what that looks like. So you got a ridge here on that side, and you got a ridge on that side. So next week I will have a different color, and we'll do the front loop only that time, which, well, it'll be on this side. We'll do the front loops. It'll look similar to this, but it'll be a little different. But anyway, so that is your first one to learn how to do this. And if you have to pull it loose and redo it because you're just learning, so be it. That's how I learned. I had to pull a lot of my stuff as what they call frogging it, because you rip it out. Anyway, so that is week 1. We learned how to do a chain and a single crochet and back loop single crochet. So anyway, and if you see it in a pattern for back loop only, it'll be BL for back loop, and then SC for back loop only single crochet. But anyway, this will be a good way for somebody to learn how to do some crocheting if they want to learn. And so I said with you, those of you that already know how to do this, just make it however long you want to. And those that are learning, if you want to just do however many stitches I have done, you can always pause this if I'm going too fast, and I'm sure there's a way you can slow down the thing. If I was going too fast in the stitches, you can slow it down. I hope I went slow enough at the very beginning for y'all to see what it was like, and you can leave feedback in the comments if I went too fast, and I will try to slow down for you if you need me to slow down. But anyway, but like I said, we're going to start out with your basic stitches, and then we will work our way up doing some new stitches out of some crochet books. That is just, I have 2 books that have 200 different crochet stitches, and they both have the basic stuff in it too, but we will start learning some other stuff as well. So I hope y'all have a wonderful and blessed week, or rest of the week, and next week we will see you for the crochet along part 2. Alright, I hope y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. Bye y'all.